This is episode 58. I am so happy that you're here and thank you for joining my show, your coach, Helen Yuskovic. I am on a worldwide mission to help people get confident in putting themselves first because I used to put myself second my whole life. And because of that, I experienced every unhealthy relationship possible. An unhealthy relationship with myself, my health, my wealth, my intimate relationships, my family, my friends, and my career. I'm now living in an abundance that I used to just dream about. So I want to pave the way for you too. It's time, guys. It's time that you live in the life of your dreams as well. So let's take a step towards that right now. P.S. Subscribe to my podcast on your app now so that you always tune in to my new episodes. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I have an amazing human here with me today, and his name is Scott Taylor. And Scott Taylor is one of the most humble, funny, caring, and helpful people when it comes to wealth creation, financial planning, and everything related to money. I was so happy that I got to meet Scott because he's actually really helped turn my life around when it comes to money. So I thought, why not bring him on the show so that I can pick his brain so that you too listening can also maybe get some beautiful insider tips, hacks and strategies when it comes to wealth creation and doing the right thing for you. So before we start, Scott, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Absolute pleasure. And can I get a recording of that introduction? Because I could play that over again. Fantastic.
It's just all the truth. Scott, can you share with us a little bit about you? Because some people listening have never heard of you before, about your history and what led you to your career today.
Okay, of course. Well, my name's Scott. I'm English, you can probably tell. I have been a financial advisor, or certainly financial advice, for nearly 20 years now. Can you believe it? So 10 years in Australia, or just over, and 10 years in the UK. I had my own business in London before I came here, and I did it in warmer climates, basically. Why did I get into financial planning? I was kind of lucky, really, that I kind of fell into it before going to university. And I've always loved helping people. So, like, for you just saying that, what you did, for me, there is nothing better than being responsible for making a difference or improving or helping somebody succeed. You cannot beat it. I love it. That's the real success that I absolutely crave. But with my fascination for money combined, that is basically why the scene was set for me to become an advisor. Always fascinated with money and shares and funds and economics around it, what's happening. So the two just go hand in hand, basically.
Were you fascinated with money from when you were like a little boy?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, we started with Monopoly, doesn't it? That's right. That's the foundation of everything, right? Yeah, no, always have been always interested in shares. I think that's the one that's probably the what's happening and the potential. It's the excitement, isn't it? I can put that into there, and they go up, don't they? Shares. So,
did someone introduce you to shares?
Not really. No, they're just spoken about, and they're there. They're always in the. So I suppose when I got into my first job in financial advice, I was responsible for updating share prices, and it was then when I had a hands-on, seeing how they would behave and how they would change, and in different ways and different sectors, and there was just a whole new world into these shares. To try and understand and how they behaved. And the more you look into it, the more interesting it became, to be honest. And so I was probably 19 years of age when I first started getting into that. So yeah, that's it, a few years ago.
So young. What a wise young chap.
Yes. So yeah, I actually left school. I was having a gap year. I was doing a tennis coaching qualification. I was actually a head coach of a tennis, and I was getting into that. And I had a gap year before I went to university to study German. But I got into financial services in my gap year as a job, and then everything else went on hold, and I just loved the whole world of financial services with investing and saving and protection and home loans, etc. from there. So nothing's changed. That's it.
Thank you for protecting my life. Scott, everyone wants to be rich. That's the
Yes.
dream, okay? So most people believe that if you become rich, you're going to finally be happy and you're going to finally live that life that you've always wanted. Can you talk about the importance of wealth? And do we need wealth? And if we do, when should we start building wealth?
Okay, great question. Well, it's there. It's such a simplistic formula to be rich. That's it, and that's the dream. And it's very, overrated, really, or not thought about enough. Because what does rich actually mean? What does it mean for you? Well, being really wealthy, what does that mean? Does it necessarily mean the desert island with the luxury lifestyle, etc.? Well, can we scale that back? Because being rich or wealthy just means that you've got enough. Just I can afford to go and buy that. I can take the holidays with my nearest and dearest, and do the things that I want to do. That's enough, because ultimately that's being rich does you. But it just means that there's more figures to look at in the bank account. Are they helping you? Are they not? And I can say that probably a lot of the wealthiest people that I have kind of helped, really, once they're there, what do they do from there? They kind of don't need to do anything, but they choose to carry on because I think they enjoy the journey more. It's the challenge of doing something and trying to build more, so that encourages them to build more. But otherwise, once you're there, what does it actually look like? You can just sit there and do nothing. Is that the end now? So I think being rich from what I can see is overrated to a certain extent. Of course, it's really important to be comfortable and know that you're going to be okay. But beyond that, it doesn't need to be multi-millions and, have that money that's sitting there just in case. It just really needs to be clarified as to what you really want and what's important to you, because it's completely different to the person next to you.
Yeah, definitely. And it takes a lot of pressure off when you realize, hold on, what does rich mean to me?
Yeah,
How much do I need?
that's
And
it.
something amazing that you did is you asked me that question, and then we sort of mapped out how much money I would want to be earning and how much money I would want to have at a certain time. And we just sort of figured it out realistically. So for those of you listening, if you're one of those people that sort of live in that unhealthy mindset of I've got to be rich to be happy, just sit there and ask yourself, how rich do I need to be happy? Does it actually bring happiness? Because it does not. It brings lots of ease and comfort when it comes to material things, but we've got strategies for being able to afford things, and we've got ways that you can make that happen if you want to make a big purchase. And that's why I really wanted to ask that question about the importance of wealth. When should we start building wealth?
As early as possible. The earlier you start, the easier it is, purely from compounding, basically. If you defer the start, you're deferring the end, really. The longer you leave it, the harder it becomes, because what you've got to do is try and generate more for making up for lost time in less time left to save that up, whatever you need to get to. And time is the only thing you can't ever get back. And I don't need to tell you about that, because time is absolutely precious, and that's it. You don't need to have a big amount to start. Start small, get the right structure, the right discipline, the right habits in place, and that can really do the legwork for you, just purely through compounding.
One thing that when I had my first business when I was like 21 or 22, and one thing that my accountant said to me was, Helen, you control your money. It doesn't control you. So I was one of those people that when I got paid, I would constantly just throw it out to bills and to all other things. And then if I had anything left, then I maybe would save. And he taught me the difference of saving first and paying yourself first, and then everything else comes second. And I was like, but then how can I pay my bills? He said, well, what are you working for if you're
Yeah.
not saving anything? And it
Yeah.
just changed my whole mindset around money, because we can have it all. We just need a system.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Absolutely. Get into a habit. See your savings as a bill. It has to be paid as part of the bills. So it's gone. And it has to go somewhere that you can't touch it again. So it is otherwise it's not saving, So it is not necessarily about investing it straight away. It's about just saving it, putting it aside. It's about building up a buffer that's there just in case, but just to see how it grows and then review it regularly. And does it get to a certain point that, well, actually, this is enough. I can actually start to invest now, or this is enough to, can it go towards property? Can it go to get you a home or whatever it is? But if it isn't there, you definitely haven't got that choice. If it is there, you start to have some more choices available to you and the protection in the downsides, because life happens.
Yeah, which is something that you taught me.
Yeah.
What's going to happen, Helen, if you lose your arm, for
Oh,
example?
yeah.
Because I do fitness, yeah. So thank you. Actually, Scott is helping me on my venture for my very first investment property, which is exciting.
Yes.
So we're getting there. I'm so excited. You're going to be like
Yeah.
the godfather of my first property.
Awesome.
I know heaps of people who live week to week,
Yep.
and they could possibly have been brought up living week to week. And living week to week is also a source of stress for their life, their marriage, their relationship, and just life in general. And I also know lots of people who spend out of their means. I was one of these people before I started business, and just spending out of control, invisible money on that plastic card, and just not even realizing how much debt they're getting themselves into. What are some healthy financial boundaries that you advise people to implement?
Okay, so again, it's very personal, and that's why I believe in personal advice. Depends on your capacity and really what you're doing, but it is a dangerous cycle. It really is. I'd probably relate it to like the diet. When you feel bad and you can't be bothered to make that healthy dish, so you get an easy takeaway. There's a quick fix, but then actually you feel a bit worse, and then you're more tired, and then you're more lethargic, and then you can't be bothered again to do something else. You've got to break out the cycle and start to eat better, to feel better, etc. It's exactly the same with the finances, So it's a dangerous cycle that I'll worry about it next month. I'll just pay that, and I'll worry about it next, and it keeps going. So yeah, of course, again, life happens. So some people really are in the situation whereby it wasn't their fault, and this is really just something that's happened that's really out of control. And you've got to live week to week for a while, of course, but you need to just kind of put it into perspective and understand it. Is it going to go on forever? Is there something that's going to change that I can start to change this? Because if it's not going to happen soon, then you need to take some action and break out that cycle. And it's just about having the strength to do that and look at some disciplines. Can you save something here? Can you reduce these costs? Can I divert that to here? And even if you start to save something, again, it may seem insignificant, that it might take you forever because I'll never be able to do something there, but you'll be surprised that when you start doing something, at least you have got a choice to help you later on. And the power of that compounding, it might mean that you can actually, I can clear that credit card now and start to snowball that up. So as quick as debts can snowball up, but so can savings to help offset the debts as well. It's just purely just taking action, and that's it. Just starting small. No matter how small or irrelevant it may seem, it's something which is so much better than nothing. And that's all. I was going to say, just in regards to because you mentioned about some boundaries, etc. I was just going to say that before you buy something or before you make a decision, just have a quick think about it, because so many people just impulse. I need it, and that credit's available, so I'll just get it and I'll worry about it later. But just have a think about it. It's not rocket science, but just if it is going to take you more than a longer period to pay off, what are the implications there? So for example, it might take me 6 months or more to pay this off. Well, what's the next 6 months look like for you? Are you going to want something else or need something else in that 6 months? So is it going to overlap? So it's going to put you into more pressure and start to you haven't paid off one thing before you're on to the next thing, and that can snowball as well. So do you really, really need it, or do you really, really want it as well? And
That's why it's
Just
good to have someone like you in your corner, because we can just call you and ask you for
no, you
advice.
don't need it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I do coaching, and wealth is one part of a coaching program that I do, because I believe that's part of the holistic wellness health puzzle. And
Mm.
I've helped quite a few clients get out of debt because I got out of huge debt.
Yeah, you're awesome.
I
So well.
learned so much from that, from being pretty much bankrupt twice. And yeah, I've had a few clients that were able to build wealth that they have
Yeah.
never built before, just from some key strategies that where they thought, why are you saying that, Helen? Like, one of the things was, make sure you save something
Yep.
first. And they
Yep.
were like, but I can't, I've got all these bills. And I was like, I was that person.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
And look at you now though. Look at that. That's awesome. So how many people would have given up and just, that's it, done. Look at you now. That's awesome. You did it, you changed, you broke the habit, started to change things, you took control.
I don't like when people are suffering with money, because I suffered with money for so many years of my life. And when I recognize that and I see that, I do everything I can to, because that stress behind your head, where when you
Yeah.
have financial issues, is so annoying. It just
Mm.
makes you a negative, angry, sad person. Scott, it's time for your first curveball. Are you ready to play?
Oh, okay.
What is something that most people do not know about you?
Some people might not know that I might be the delivery person on the Woolworths commercial you might see online at the moment. You never know. I might be the one to bring your groceries.
Something funny about Scott is that he's also an actor. So,
This isn't an act, by the way. This is real. So,
no, me too. We've done like commercial work, and we connected over this when I first met you, because we went to
yeah.
the same casting, I think, once.
Yes.
That's so
Who was
funny.
for?
So you're the Woolworths
Oh,
guy.
yes.
So for those of you listening overseas, that's just a huge supermarket chain here in Australia, and he's the guy on the TV screen. Scott, do you have any tips or tricks or strategies that can help in people building some wealth?
Okay. My first thing would be is keep it simple. It doesn't necessarily have to be exciting, or no. There's definitely no get rich strategy. So keep it simple, and you can't get away from the fact that the first part takes time, takes patience. You have to build it up slowly, save it, and then it takes money to make money. Really, and then you've got the effect of compounding. Then you can start to invest in other areas. But the risk of stretching yourself too soon, and before you've got that emergency fund, if you've put it into something that's going to be pretty volatile and it drops in value just when you need it, just to cover some of these bills that have come in, that's going to be disastrous. So keep it simple, build it slowly, and don't stretch yourself too thin. They're definitely the best two tips I would always say. But I would say probably thirdly that remember, emotion kills wealth as well. Emotion kills wealth. That's it. So many people invest because they don't want to miss out. They're doing it, so I'm going to do it because it's going to go up. And I've read in the newspaper, and they're all talking about it over here. That's going to go up, and I don't want to be that one that's going to miss out. So I'm going to invest in that crypto, or property is having this moment. So I'm going to invest in property, or otherwise I'm going to miss out. And that's it, with no thought about where that sits in your portfolio, how it's going to help behave for you within your risk profile, within your time frame, within your affordability. It's the wrong way around. So invest with research and science behind it that's going to help you get you where you want to go. That's 3 tips.
Thank you so much, Scott. You gave me a really cool thing, a budget. So I'm telling you, he says keep it simple. This is
Yes.
one thing that maybe I'll put a link to that one that you told me about.
Okay. Yeah. One of the best ones I use is on Money Smart. It's the government website. calculates it all for you. It's got every category, and it's one of those things that it sounds horrendously boring, let's be honest, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about what comes out. Well, if you don't think about it, then you don't really know. So even if you just have a ballpark figure of, but this is what's going out, I pay this, I need this to live on, so therefore I know that I've got this left over. And that is where you can start to identify that what that's left over. Do I save some of that? Can I invest some of that, or whatever proportion, or pay debt down with some of it as well? So it's really important to kind of look what you're dealing with. I know it's horrible and it's daunting, but once you know, then you can go from there. Really, the clarity is much more reassuring than the worry or the fear of the unknown.
Even if you just do it once, twice, 3 times a year, just to like check in on how you're tracking with your money, like what's it doing right now. And if you hate it, do what I do and just do it when you're with Scott or when you're with someone that is like into finances, because I don't like doing it either. It's him that hounds me to do these sorts of things, which is great. I love you for it. Scott, it's time for your second curveball. Are you ready to play?
Oh, okay. Come on then.
What is your favorite form of self-care?
Okay. I definitely love a massage.
Wow.
I love a massage. So I have 2 daughters as well, and I probably shouldn't admit this as well, but you know, they like to get their nails done. Okay, and I have to accompany them, make sure that they're okay, and I can go along for a pedicure as well and sit in the massage chair. It's fantastic. Because I play a lot of football as well, so I get it on a little bit. So the muscles and bones aren't quite as strong as they were maybe, but yeah, a massage is definitely when I can.
I have 1 a week, Scott, so don't feel guilty.
Oh, okay, right, okay. I'm going to need to step it up.
I used to smoke and I used to buy cigarettes. Yeah. And I decided to change my death investment for a health investment. And
there you go.
I changed it to massages.
Awesome. What a difference. Oh.
I think massage should be compulsory in human life, because our bodies, we put them through so much physically and mentally, and something as simple as a massage regularly can really help to increase your circulation, release tension from your muscles, stress from your head, and it does a whole bunch of wonderful things.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, I want you to answer one more thing.
Yeah.
Investments. Okay, so we've got like so much going on right now with crypto and stocks and properties and all sorts of things that if we are ready to invest in, we should invest in. But it's a bit confusing for everyday people to know what to do, where to invest, and then there's another problem of how much money it takes to invest in something like property, for example. Where do we start?
Okay. Even with a property, for example, they can range from, you know, $200,000-$300,000 to multi-millions. So what you've got to do is keep it in perspective. They've all got their place. And what I will say is that as more and more products and strategies have evolved, people typically have a wide range of all these products and know a little bit about lots of things, but don't really have an in-depth understanding of really how they perform. What are the implications, the tax consequences, and how it's going to perform for you? So they're there for a reason, because they've all got a place. They've all got their benefits, but they've all got their downfalls. So what we need to do is reverse engineer it and think about what you want to do first, and then select the right way to go to get about that. You know, so many people say, cryptocurrency is going up, I'm going to invest in that, and they want to make it work for them within a totally inappropriate time frame because they're expecting it to double, triple, etc. Or even property, you know, they want too much too soon, or stretch themselves for a property because they've got the emotion kills wealth, but this property is particularly beautiful and they want it. It's a stretch, but they're going to do it. And then it's just so easy that it can fall over. So you've got to keep it in perspective and have the right portfolio in the right proportion in line with what you want to do. I think probably one of the best analogies I have is think about it now. Think about it like a journey. So you and your life, you want to get from here to over there. Now, I know that's really hard because we know nothing really about the day we want to retire and how much, etc. But what we have got is a good idea. So it doesn't have to be hard and fast. It just has to be something, some sort of vague idea. Oh, I want a house. It might cost this amount. It'll be in this approximate area. The more you can detail, the easier it's going to be, because then it's easier to reverse engineer. Because once you know where that destination is, you can look at what the best route is to get there. Do we go east, west, however, are there mountains, is there water to avoid, then you can select the best vehicle for how to get there, so, or a combination of, so you're not expecting a bicycle to take you over the mountains over a 20-year journey. You can select the right vehicle that's going to efficiently get you over there over the right time frame with it, if that kind of makes sense. Because too many people are expecting too much too soon from a lot of investments, and I think probably one of the most common mistakes as well is actually expecting too much from something that isn't going to give you enough. And I see too many people approaching retirement where all they've done is been very good and very disciplined, but overpaid their home loan. I'm not investing. I'm just concentrating on paying the home loan because that's my main goal. And it's very, very one-track focus, which is great, because by paying the extra, $200 a week or whatever it is into the home loan, it's brilliant. Of course it is. It's going to save you a lot of interest. But there is an area whereby you're starting to save a little bit too much into cash that, when you look at a 20-year time frame, for example, can you save that money into somewhere that's going to give you a higher potential return than cash? Well, absolutely, over a 20-year period. So where's the end point? So of course you might, it might be a 30-year term, you might save it to 25 or 20. Well, brilliant. But you're still paying 20 years of cash payments. It's not an investment at all. So where's the grey line? Well, I've got enough in cash. This is my security buffer now. Let's widen the horizon and invest something over that time frame that can give me a better potential return.
Who should people speak to if they want help with this?
Yours truly.
Financial planner?
Absolutely, a financial planner. There's less around now thanks to the Royal Commission, but they are important. I'm not just advocating our services. Go and see your local advisor, and just have a chat. Just thrash it out. Sometimes just it's hard to kind of get away from this, or have a third party independent opinion on what's going on, to put it into perspective of what you're trying to do, what you're doing. Sometimes it can be just something simple that stops people doing things because they're worried, it's fearful, it's doing something different. I've been paying into the home loan for 20 years. Why would I put something into this investment? It's scary, it can go up or down. And what are the risks? What are the costs involved? Cost is a huge fear factor as well, so of course we charge fees eventually if you want to engage us. Of course we do, but we do everything to make sure that it might be an investment in yourself, but we need to make sure that you're going to be in a better position, because if you're not going to be in a better position from a behavioral perspective, a potential investment return in the right proportion, I'm not guaranteeing any better performance of such, but putting you in better places that might be better suited to get you a better return. But also tax efficiency. What tax savings can you have? So many people, again, put savings into the wrong vehicles, or with no idea what the tax consequences were. A little bit of planning in advance can save thousands. It's not rocket science. So just to have a chat and look where you want to get to, and that's half the battle really, because then everything's there.
Scott, it's time for your last curveball. Are you ready to
Another
play?
One? No, okay.
What was your last random act of kindness?
Last week somebody came in for some charity. How about that? That was quite random. Actually, no. Even better than that, there was an old lady in the shopping centre, Macquarie Centre, last week, and honestly, she was just slightly bent over and really struggling with this trolley. So I helped her along with that trolley to get her shopping along to where she needed to go to, into the next shop.
So sweet.
Oh, honestly, everybody just watched her, and it's one of those things that, do we want to make a scene or anything like that? But she was clearly struggling. Just help her, and she was so thankful, bless her, as well. So
how good are random acts of kindness?
honestly. But Buzz, when you walk away, I know I was walking away thinking, oh, she's so thankful, and she's got there safe, and you can't beat it. It's helping people is the hands down the most rewarding task you can ever do. Absolutely, that feeling of you've made somebody's life better, no matter how small it is, cannot ever beat it.
Well, thank you for making my life better, and thank you for your time today, Scott. Before we leave, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Anything else that you want to pass on?
Just bear in mind those tips. Keep it simple. Nothing happens quickly. Yes, it takes patience and time, and it's boring saving slowly. But once you've done it, then you won't look back, and you can grow into more exciting things from there. Even if you've got equity that you can use as well, same thing. Sometimes people have got equity in their property they don't even realize they've got. Can they use that? Well, absolutely. That's certainly another consideration to use. It might not even be savings that you've got, but you've been paying the home loan down. But can you use that to start to build a portfolio as well? And don't forget protection. Protection is important as well.
Yeah, definitely. I loved emotion kills wealth, and I loved that we should, if we're stuck, just reach out to someone that's a professional, and to always protect ourselves in the event that something unbeknownst happens, because we just don't know. We might fall tomorrow. Something might happen.
That's it. And so many people, it's a blind ignorance to it as well. And if you think about, if you were to ask anybody, where do you see yourself in 10 years? 100% of people are going to say, oh, I'm going to be doing this, I'll have this, I'll do that. Nobody ever thinks of that chance that I might be unable to work, I might be sick, I might have a relative who's really sick and I've had to take time out to help them. Nobody ever, it's a rose-tinted view on the future, but these things unfortunately happen. And, like trauma insurance for me, cancer scares the life out of me. It's just my first premium I pay every month, just in case, it's horrific. And it's just one of those things. Protect yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you and your time and your wisdom, Scott. I'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you. That's been awesome. Thanks, Helen.
This episode has just re-inspired me to go over my financial goals, and just to make sure that all of my savings are in check and the way that I'm spending. I hope you found this information valuable, guys. I was so excited when Scott said yes to this interview. Please let me know on my Instagram post what you liked about today's episode, or just share your experience that you've had with building wealth. I remember, a time in my life where I was just always broke, and I was always so stressed when it came to money, and I just never had enough, and whenever I got some, a big bill would come, and I just realized that this energy was a direct reflection of my energy at that time. So the minute I took some responsibility, changed a few strategies with my money, everything turned around. And if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you times infinity for spending time with me. It really means a lot. Putting yourself first will really help escalate your goals, your dreams, and I love being on the journey with you. So make sure you come and tell me on my Instagram at Whole Health, which is HOL_health, and comment below this podcast photo to share your thoughts on my show today. And if you enjoyed it, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify so that I can keep bringing amazing value to you. I'm sending you truckloads of love, power, and joy. Bye for now.